If you're a guy who struggles to get girls, then this video might be for you. Because what makes us not able to get girls in real life? It's not that we don't try enough. It's not that we're not good looking enough or aren't good enough of guys. It's more that we can't receive women because we can't receive the feminine within ourselves. Because we are resisting the feminine inside of us, we resist the feminine outside of us. So every time a girl is talking to us, every time we get some sort of compassion, or every time we want ourselves to relax, we feel a resistance to these things. We feel a resistance to this healthy and rejuvenating feminine energy that we need. And why do we reject this feminine energy so much? Why don't we accept it just easily as it is? Because it's so beautiful. Well, sometime in the past, toxic feminine energy, the negative expression of the feminine polarity, hurt us. Meaning that we were either lazy or manipulated or we manipulated others, and that resulted in consequences that we thought, subconsciously of course, I can't start anything with this feminine energy anymore. It hurts me, it's toxic, I don't want this as part of me. But the problem is that we don't know the distinction between the positive and the negative expression of masculine or feminine energy. We believe that because the toxic expression of feminine energy has hurt us, that all feminine energy is toxic. And it's the same with men. We believe that because toxic masculine energy has hurt us, we believe that all of the masculine energy is toxic and doesn't serve us, and we reject men. That's what happens with extreme feminists. And so what happens after we've been hurt by the feminine is that we decide that we don't want this to be part of our lives anymore. We stop accepting any part of ourselves that wants to procrastinate, relax, have compassion, and instead work so hard and tirelessly at becoming an alpha male, becoming successful, because otherwise we don't deserve anything, which is a lack of compassion, which is a lack of feminine energy within ourselves. And we develop toxic masculinity out of having experienced toxic femininity. But this isn't solving our problem, because toxic masculinity is control and domination and overworking and not accepting of either sort of feminine energy. Because it sees it as chaotic, it sees it as bad. It doesn't recognize its rejuvenating and creative and beautiful and compassionate power. So we go through our lives feeling like we cannot be feminine, feeling like we can't paint our nails, sing, dance, grow our hair out, do these healthy feminine things, and instead force ourselves to be a very specific certain way. And because we're not accepting of this feminine energy within ourselves, we don't accept ourselves to relax at times. We don't accept ourselves to have compassion for ourselves. That this expresses in our energy field. This expresses in our vibe. And the women around us, they might not know it consciously, but they feel how we're not accepting of them. The healthy masculine is characterized by creating a container of safety, by creating safety, being aware of so much, like having a huge consciousness that can envelop everything and make everything feel safe. And what happens if we don't do that? We have a small safety container. And what women are most attracted to is to have a safe space where they can just be and not feel so constricted by your toxic masculinity. Now, how do we become accepting of the feminine energy within ourselves? How do we become accepting of feminine energy in general? Well, we need to understand the difference between toxic femininity and positive femininity, and toxic masculinity and positive masculinity. The toxic feminine is characterized by manipulation and laziness and complacency. But the positive feminine is beautiful in its creativity and compassion, empathy, what else? Magnetism, intuition. And the negative masculine is, as I said before, control, domination, overworking. But healthy masculine is consciousness, it's safety, it's order. Imagine like a good father and a good mother. And if we understand the difference between different expressions of these two polarities, we can understand that in reality, we don't reject the entire polarity. We don't reject masculinity. We don't reject femininity. We just prefer to opt for the positive expression of either polarity, of course. Instead of being deprived of so much feminine energy due to having suppressed it for so long, And because our hearts crave masculine and feminine energy so much, we force it down our throats with drugs and beer and alcohol and porn and fast food just to experience some sort of feminine energy. But that's usually the negative expression of feminine energy. But as we understand the difference between these two polarities, we can understand that we can incorporate, we can totally incorporate positive and positive masculinity and femininity in ourselves. And as we do this, as we unite the positive expression of either polarity within ourselves as much as we're capable of doing it, because of course we're still limited, we're still humans, and as a guy or as a girl, you'll still be more guy than girl. As we do that, we become the most, ironically, most masculine and ironically also the most feminine as a girl versions of ourselves. Because if we embody either, it allows the other polarity to express even more. So meaning that if I embody more feminine energy, I can become more masculine, because there's just within the safety container that you built, which is the masculine trait, the more it gets filled, the bigger it can get. As you incorporate this, as you understand that you're allowed to be that, the women around you, the feminine energy around you will feel this. They will feel that they're finally accepted in your life and enter.